Good afternoon. I'm so happy that you joined us. As we've heard, we are going to dive into the solutions of one of the biggest challenges for companies today. You've heard a bit about that, but which is that challenge? Well, how many of the companies in here were founded more than 5 years ago? How many were around 5 years ago? So pretty much everyone. Okay, good. Then I can tell you that most likely you are all facing the same challenge. You share a common challenge. And it is this. So 5 years ago, the market share worldwide looked like this. Desktop held 78% of the market share, and mobile 17%. And that is when many of the companies created their websites, they created their legacy systems. A lot of robust things were put in place then. And today, it looks like this. Desktop is at 43% and mobile 53%. So mobile is now the primary device. And that goes even further if we start looking at the actual usage. So this is time spent on mobile versus desktop. It's for UK to the left and USA to the right. And as you can see, mobile is increasing by every year, and desktop is declining. Many households don't have a desktop at home. Yeah, we might use it when we're at work, but most of the shopping nowadays occurs on mobile. So actually, mobile usage now exceeds desktop with 4 times over. And I think we can relate to that, because we really love our mobiles, don't we? One study conducted by BCG showed that what customers would be willing to give up in order to not have to surrender their mobile device. And they answered this. 3 out of 10 would stop seeing their friends in person. Don't need them. My mobile, though, need that. Okay. 45% says they would put off going on vacation. Don't need that either. And 1/3 of the people would rather give up sex for a year. So, if we didn't think that humankind was doomed before, then we know that now. And that is not a problem in itself. That is not the challenge here. The challenge is this. How many of you in here have a higher conversion rate on mobile than you do on desktop? Yeah, not that many at all. Yeah, so the average conversion rate on a mobile is half of what it is on desktop. And that, my friends, is the challenge. That is the true challenge that companies need to solve today. It actually comes down to revenue. If we don't optimize the conversion rate for mobile, then we're sending in a lot of traffic to a bad user experience. And that will take a really hard hit on your revenue, because you have to buy more and more and more traffic. Instead, optimize the mobile experience. Work with that number. So, say that you had 2 stores. In one, you had much less visitors, but you sold a lot. And then you had another store where you got so much more visitors, but they just didn't purchase anything. I bet that your manager would say, what is going on in this store? You need to go down there and take a look. Something is wrong. And that is what we will be doing during these 2 days. Together, we will try to find out what's going on your mobile sites. What can we improve? And how can we increase the sales on the mobile site? So the question that I want you to ask yourself is this. Have you optimized your mobile site for the mobile experience? Not just made the desktop site responsive, but actually optimizing it for mobile. And the reason why startups right now are overthrowing giants is due to this. Because many of the startups weren't around 5 years ago. So they don't have legacy systems. They don't have sites that were created for desktop and then just kind of shoved into mobile. So right now, we are seeing a lot of Davids overthrow Goliaths. And if you are a giant, you have to adapt to that. You have to make sure that the site that the most people will see is super good. Make sense? Good. Okay, so how do we become great at mobile? Well, it comes down to these two areas. You have to work with the speed, and here we have to help our developers. And we have to work with the mobile design. And I know that everybody in here is now, yeah, the mobile design, the creativity, wonderful, let's go there. Wait a bit. Just wait a second. Because it doesn't matter what you do with your page or your site if it takes such a long time to load that people don't stick around to see it. So let's start here. Let's start with speed. Let's make sure that they actually see all the beautiful campaigns and pages that you create. And the reason why speed is important and kind of a problem is this. This is the 4G coverage in the world. As you can see, the Nordics, where I'm from, has super great 4G network connections. Amazing. And the US as well. But if we try to do export, or if we are focusing on other areas, we need to adapt our site for 3G fast or slow network connections. And if we dive into one of the areas with the best connections, for instance, Sweden, then it actually looks like this. So yeah, the big city, Stockholm, has great 4G connections, absolutely. But as soon as we go outside of those big cities, speed is going to be a problem. So we have to step out of our bubble. We can't assume that if we live in a big city, in one of the countries with great network connections, that all customers experience our site the same way. That is one of the biggest problems right now. And when asked what people dislike the most when browsing the web on their mobile devices, waiting for slow pages to load comes in first, 46%. Which is, as we heard, the reason why 53% of users will leave a site that takes longer than 3 seconds to load. So 3 seconds is about what you have. So how do we get really great at speed? Well, step number 1, make speed a KPI. Help your developers here. Make sure that this is reported to your stakeholders. You can go to Test My Site with Google in the break, and you also have a guide in this link, a mobile speed guide that goes through a lot about the measurement of speed, how to actually track it. Take a picture of that and save it for later. Great. Okay, step number 2. You have to make sure that your developers have the time and resources to optimize the code. If they don't have the time to work with this, it won't get sold. We're selling on digital platforms. We have to make sure that people who actually know digital platforms are involved in our decisions and can optimize that experience. But the developers can't solve this alone, unfortunately. They will need your help. I would suggest that you start working with a performance budget, which means that you can have a target for each page that you create. For instance, one quite easy target is to make sure that each page is below 1 megabyte in page weight. You can also work with other targets like load time or speed index, but this is a good tool to start with. Yes, fine, if you really want to have a lot of brand there, you can go to 1.5 megabyte, but I would really recommend try to hit 1 megabyte. Because the reason is this. This is the average page weight from 2011 to 2017. And as you can see, it has increased a lot. And it comes down to images and videos. So really think about the images that you put on the page. Do you need every single one of them? Is there any way to optimize the image or perhaps even cut it? What is best for the user experience? Okay, good. The final step. There's also some tech solutions within modern web tech that your developers can help use to increase speed. For instance, accelerated mobile pages. Talk to your developers about this. Try out a few landing pages and see what they think about it. Great. Okay, so this will affect your revenue. I work with clients on this every day. And as of yet, I have not seen a single client not increasing revenue when they start to fix speed. If you go to the impact calculator in this link, you will be able to calculate the potential revenue uplift that you can create from your data. So try it out. One client that I've been working with is TUI in Sweden. And this is their correlation between the mobile average page load time and the bounce rate. They've actually decreased the bounce rate with 31%. And they managed to do this by having amazing developers. They're super talented. But their stakeholders really listened to the developers. They gave them time to work on this. And the content team and the creative team, they started to talk about speed as well. Yeah, but we can't put this many images on the site. Oh, that's how they solved it, by starting to work together. So, okay, finally done with speed. Check. Wonderful. Now we can go into this area, the creativity, the design. Okay, mobile is actually challenging. I know that. We don't have as many standards or traditions as we do on desktop. For instance, on desktop, we know that we have the logo to the left, and if we click the logo, we will come to the home page. And we will have the top categories at the top. These standards that we've gotten used to. With mobile, we're still trying to figure it out. Is it better with a top navigation at the top? Should we have the navigation at the bottom instead, where the thumb actually can reach it? These are the questions we need to solve. And there's only one way of solving it. And that is to let the users show us what they like. Because the standards and the traditions don't work anymore. So we have to A/B test specifically for mobile. Make sure you don't mix together test for desktop and mobile. Segment the results so you see this specific experience. The process for conversion rate optimization looks like this. You actually have a sheet in your bags going through each step shown here. And for the ones who will be watching the video, you can go to this link. Take a look at that sheet when you come home and start doing each step. I will today give you my 6 big bets to increase mobile conversions. And it's all about reducing friction and increasing motivation so that your visitors will want to go through the whole funnel. So we've talked about speed, check on that one. Let's go to the next one. Usability test. I know that I am nagging about this. I know that the ones who've heard me before definitely have heard me mention this, but let's just go there. Imagine those 2 stores. So one is selling less. You would, of course, when trying to figure out what is wrong there, go to the actual store. It would be quite difficult to sit at the office and just imagine what is working. And that is the exact same thing you need to do with your mobile site. Start doing usability tests, and you can actually do it extremely easy. Usability tests is the biggest missed opportunity within CRO. You will learn so much, I promise you. And the way to do it, to start, is like this. Ask your friends, ask your family, people who are not used to your site that often, and ask them to do an assignment. For instance, if you're a retailer, you can ask them to go to the site and buy the perfect winter coat for you, the one that you like. By asking something that motivates their wants and needs, their taste, then they will be very natural in their usage of the site. Ask them to think aloud while they're doing this assignment, and to be honest. You don't want them to be polite with you. You want to hear their frustrations, because they will be frustrated when they're at home. So I actually also usually advise people to not be in the room while people are doing usability tests, because you will start to defend stuff and explain stuff, and we don't want that. So instead, ask them to record the session. On iPhone, you can find the screen recording in the control panel, and on Android, you can use the D-Recorder app. That is a way to start seeing how people are interacting with your site. And once again, you will learn so much. Okay, step number 3, findability. This is one of the most important things with a site, and it comes down to this. When asked, when browsing websites on your smartphone, how important would you say each of the following are in terms of your overall experience? How easy it is to find what I'm looking for is number 2, after speed, because speed always comes first, of course. 66% said findability. And take a look at this. How attractive the site looks. Only got 24% of the responses. But I don't know if you recognize this, but I feel like most of the time when we're talking to our agency, we are talking about aesthetics, the attractiveness. But people just want to find what they're looking for. They want to complete a task. So there are 2 ways of finding what you're looking for on a site. Either you search, use a site search, or you browse. Site search is quite interesting. So in general, people who use the site search convert 4 times more often because they have a really high internal motivation and they know what they're looking for. But it's so often an overlooked feature. People are like, yeah, the site search, we haven't really gotten around to that, but it's coming. Ooh. That is where your most eager visitors are coming in. So this is a checklist for your site search. Go through it and see if you have all the features. One suggestion is to fold out the search bar because people really want to search. The next, you work with your synonyms list. Because if people get no results found, they will just leave. Have autocomplete, so if I start writing SWE, I will get sweater, just to make it easier for me as a visitor. Have spelling suggestions if I misspell anything. And have suggestions when no results are found. And finally, make sure that the first result is the most relevant. Go through this list. It's really useful. Matalan was one company who folded out their search bar, and their searches increased with 32% on mobile and 51% on tablet. And remember, people who search convert more often. So that is really useful. Okay. The other way of finding what we're looking for, which we want to do when we enter the site, is browsing or using the navigation. I just want to show you one usual problem or something that we can think a bit about. This is a usual setup for desktop. As we talked about, we usually have the navigation at the top, the most popular product categories, for instance. And then we have campaigns. It can look like something like this. It has nothing to do with this company. Most of the companies I see do the same thing. But what happens on mobile? All of a sudden, the product categories are gone. And we devote the whole homepage to campaigns. So the area of the site that people always clicked on the most on desktop is all of a sudden gone. now, there are ways to solve this. These are some of the companies who've managed to create interesting solutions to this. Monkey is doing it amazingly and very beautifully by designing their top categories right below the first area with the campaign, so that people easily can see what they can find on the site. Zalando shows women, men, kids straight away. Apple is showing the product categories with icons, which is beautiful. And Etsy showing icons and the top categories as well. Start to think about if you perhaps want to put your top categories on the home page and not just focusing on campaigns. Because if I am searching for a specific product, maybe all of those campaigns aren't relevant for me. I want to see which product category I need to go to. Okay, great. Step number 4, value proposition. There are 2 things you need to put on the home page in order to create a really great value proposition. You need to have a call to action. What is it that you want people to do? Show them. And you need to put your value proposition in words. So it can look like something like this. For instance, ASOS are saying that they are your fashion and style destination. That is who they are. And they are appealing to your stomach, your gut, with an image. But above that, they are talking to your brain. They are talking to your purchase anxiety by saying free delivery and returns. And we are seeing quite amazing results from A/B tests when we input something that reduces our purchase anxiety with the value proposition. So take a look at that. And there's a reason why we want to be very focused on the first screen, the first thing you see on the homepage on mobile. And it's because of this. So Brian Eisenberg has been talking about 4 behavior types. And it's not about one person being only one type, not at all. This is about making sure that you talk to all different ways of processing information. One person can be several categories, and it can have something to do with where they are in the purchase funnel. But the fast-paced decision makers will want to see what you are offering them immediately. They want you to explain your value proposition, and they want to see your call to action and definitely the popular product categories very fast. So fast-paced people can be logical and emotional, but they want to understand your offer and go to the product that they are after very fast. And that means that you need to design for them in the first or the second screen. So when you enter your homepage and we first see the first screen, then we scroll down a bit, then you see the second screen. This is where you need to speak to fast-paced people by having a value proposition, call to action. But then we have the more slow-paced people. They are the ones who scroll all the way down, who read your text, who want to compare and evaluate. For them, it's important that they make the right decision. So for these people, you need to make sure that you have a product comparison. Comparisons are really, really important to them. And Edward Tufte, who's working with statistics, said this amazing thing. Comparisons must be enforced within the scope of the eye span. And what he means is that you need to make sure that you don't make people have to remember what they've just seen in the product comparison. For instance, like this. When we are on a desktop site, it's very easy to see the different product features. We can just scan this page and see that, okay, so this product has this, and that one has that. But on mobile, a lot of the time, we are not designing for scanability. We are making people go into each product, remember what they've read, go back to the category page, go to the next product, remember what they read there, and that is not good. That creates a high reliance on memory, which is difficult. So instead, I would advise you to take a look at the article from Nielsen Norman, who is talking about how to produce product comparisons on mobile. It's really, really good. But what they are saying is this. They want you to be able to click on the products you want to compare and then see the different features for each product, like Apple is doing. Also think about this when you are creating somewhere where people need to decide where they're going. Don't make people scroll so that they can see the different categories. Make sure that people see all of them in one screen. That is how we make sure we don't rely on memory. Okay, final thing. You need to simplify the checkout. I actually believe that the winners within retail will be the ones who solve the checkout. And my advice is that you look into how to solve it with tech, not only by design. Because 27% of users abandon checkouts due to too long and complicated checkout processes. 27%. So we can work with that. There are some steps here. You have the unoptimized checkout, which is really heavy for your customer. And then we can make it a bit easier by using design. So for instance, allowing checkout as a guest, having the Google address autocomplete and the correct keypad for when we're asking for numbers or when we're asking for words. That is like one way to start. You should already be here, but you need to start looking into the next phase. You can use Google Pay, Apple Pay, PayPal. I honestly don't want to push anything on you. You just need to choose something or have 2 or 3 alternatives. Because we don't want to type anymore. We want to tap. For instance, that is why emojis became so popular. Instead of writing a whole sentence, we could just send a pizza and a question mark and be done. And that is the same way that the one-click purchase solution is working. Because the average amounts of taps for a checkout is 120. That is a lot. And we don't have the patience to write that much on mobile. Now, we have a really amazing UX guru in Sweden, Per Axbom, who's doing the UX podcast. And he's a bit hesitant about one-click purchase solutions. Because he's saying that, well, we need some friction. We need to make sure that people are understanding that they are actually purchasing. And I can actually agree with him. He makes a good point. So I'm thinking that the solution should be having great clarity and having perhaps 3 or 4 taps. It could be something like, are you Lina Hansson? Yes. Is this your delivery address? Yes. Can you enter your CVC? Yes. That is the way to make sure that everybody understands that they are purchasing, but not forcing them to enter 120 taps. Okay, that was my list, my overview of what to start with. The speakers during these 2 days are going to go into each of these areas and really go deep. But I want you to not only focus on us here on stage. Because, yeah, we have a lot of tools and knowledge to give, but when you go home from here, you will need to be the fighters who manage backlogs, stakeholders, how to spread awareness. And actually, the people in this room are the ones who can give advice on that. So for these 2 days, I would advise you to not think of this room as being filled with competitors. There are no competitors today. We are all facing the same challenge, which is how to make a 5-year-old or more company go into the solutions and the site that is needed for today. So talk to each other. And talk to us as well, because we really want to hear your thoughts. Thank you, and I hope you have 2 amazing days.